Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. July 12th, Frederick Robertson. Frederick Robertson was a man who had a reputation for studying hard. In fact, he memorized the entire New Testament in English and in Greek, and he was enthusiastically evangelistic. On this date, in 1840, he was ordained by the Bishop of Winchester and began preaching at once. Do you sometimes wonder whether God answers prayer? Pray. When Minister Frederick Robertson was a little boy, he often hunted with his father. Every time the dogs were sent out to scatter the birds into the air, little Frederick prayed that his father could shoot the bird and kill it, so they could take it home. Sometimes the prayers would work, his father would shoot his gun and kill the bird, but sometimes the prayers didn't work, and the bird would fly away, and Frederick felt disappointed. Young Frederick got discouraged. Why did God listen to some of his prayers but not others? Did God really care? When Frederick got old enough to go to school, he carried this secret doubt with him. But then one day the schoolmaster called Frederick and 9 other boys to the office. They were all in trouble. Something had happened at the school. Frederick's guts knotted. He hadn't done anything wrong. He never would. Boys who caused trouble were flogged in front of the whole school. The shame, being labeled a troublemaker. He felt overwhelmed. Waiting to see the schoolmaster was the worst. Frederick's mind raced to figure out what to do. If he told the truth, would the schoolmaster believe him? What if the old schoolmaster ignored the truth and Frederick was flogged anyways? He felt sick. It was his word against the schools and the schoolmasters. He wasn't sure any grown-up would take his side. He sat and waited, wondering what else he could do. He thought of trying to pray, as unsure as he was that it would work. Would God listen to such a minor request? Would God even care about a school punishment, even if he wasn't guilty? Frederick decided to try it. He prayed desperately that God would help him escape the punishment and shame of flogging, and Frederick hoped that God would hear him. The schoolmaster stepped out and brought the boys to be flogged. As the 9 stood and waited with Frederick at the head, he came face to face with the schoolmaster. But as the schoolmaster looked at him, a strange expression came upon his face, and he almost looked surprised that Frederick was there with the other troublemakers. "Little boy," the schoolmaster said, "I excuse you. I have particular reasons for it." Some adults stepped up and ushered Frederick away, and the other 9 boys were flogged in front of the whole school. Frederick never did find out what reasons the schoolmaster had for sparing him. But Frederick did realize that God had heard his prayer, even though it was only about a minor incident. And for the 3 years he was at the school, he was never flogged. "That incident settled my mind for a long time," Frederick said. But eventually he became a man and thought as a man. And he realized that prayer wasn't a good luck charm or a carnival game, make a wish and win a prize, and it didn't make Frederick immune to bad things happening. Somehow, the fact that God heard Frederick's prayers was about the fact that Frederick was connected to the creator of the universe. It did not make me better, it simply gave me security. He felt confident that God was listening. No matter how scary things got, God would take care of him and give him strength to face any difficulty, big or small. The psalmist wrote, "But he listened, he heard my prayer, he paid attention to it." Psalm 66:19. Think of how prayer has affected your life. Has it made you more secure in your faith? Do you sometimes wonder whether God answers prayer? Pray. Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Today's story was about a man who isn't as well known as some, but his story proves that God uses ordinary men in many different ways to accomplish his purposes. Is there a man whose story has inspired you, but most people have never heard his story? We would like to hear his story and maybe include him in 365 Christian Men. Please visit our website to share the story of a man who has inspired you, and join us tomorrow at 365christianmen.com.